Hey everybody, this is Rob Wilson with Performance Therapeutics and Prepare to Perform. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my new SquatRx program. So, SquatRx program, if you haven't figured out, is a program to help you with your squat. All right, squat is one of the most basic, fundamental human movement patterns. It's an amazing indicator and strength builder for sports, human performance. It's a real must as a part of any training or movement program, and it's probably overall the thing that I see the most problems with in my clinic. There are basic components of the squat shape that people are missing that create problems later on down the line, whether it's for a sport where that movement pattern is a literal part of their sport, like in Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, CrossFit type of sport, or whether it's a part of their strength and conditioning program. People are missing pieces of it. And then also I see that when athletes or when folks who use the squat, whether it's as a conditioning tool or part of their sport, come back from an injury, they have a hard time bridging the gap between physical therapy and then sort of reintroduction of that movement pattern in a way that's gradual and makes sense for them. And a lot of times people have to kind of work through it organically and get a little bit of help. But over the years, I've noticed that there are some common things that we can do that help accelerate the process and getting you back to focusing on your performance. And one of the main things is focusing on the quality of the movement position, obviously, right? So the SquatRx program, the phase 1 component, which is completely unloaded, is focusing on just gaining positional control, 6 weeks, somewhere between 3 and 5 days a week, depending on what week you're on. For the most part, it's 3 days a week, but there are some test days and optional days sprinkled in here and there. One of the main things you want to do is that if you're coming back from an injury and you're not really sure if this is appropriate for you, get in touch with a healthcare practitioner that you trust, who has knowledge of orthopedic problems and applications of this movement pattern. So pain is not always a good indicator of whether or not it's time. So if you're not sure, ask somebody who knows more than you and get their opinion, okay? And if you guys don't have somebody, I'll be happy to be that person. If you want to send me a message through Instagram or shoot me an email or whatever, you can find me on the internet. But there's lots of information out there and lots of people are willing to help, so don't be afraid to reach out. Additionally, when you do this program, make sure that each day you read the instructions that are given. So from week to week, sometimes the movement patterns look the same or the mobility exercises look the same, but the specific intention changes and then the how matters. Okay, so make sure you read the instructions thoroughly, please, if for no other reason, to make me feel good about the amount of time that I spent thinking of and writing the instructions. Okay, so take the extra time, read the information so that you can execute the progressions properly. Now, I said this is a 6-week program, but for some people, it might take longer, right? So 6 weeks is the least amount of time it will take. If you hit a part where your body isn't ready to move to the next step yet, then stay there and repeat it until you accomplish the task that you're trying to accomplish with that portion of the progression. And that stuff is outlined, and if you're uncertain about it, hit me up on the feed for Train Heroic and ask me a question, okay? But proceed at your own pace, right? So it's just 6 weeks of overall, and really the whole idea is to prepare you for more complex variations of squatting later on, being able to transition in and out of that position, to load that position, to approach that position with some speed. So dot your I's and cross your T's with the first phase, and that's going to help you in the long term, okay? So also make sure, almost forgot, make sure that you watch the standards video that's on day 1. So on day 1, there's a standards video because we want a good metric for you to be able to compare your squat position to during the whole time. So watch the standards video first. It's a little on the long side, it's a little over 10 minutes, but watch it, ingrain it, and then hold that standard throughout the entire process. Okay, and again, if you guys have any questions as you go through that process, you can hit me up on the Train Heroic feed, and I'll be happy to help you as best I can. Thanks.